I know you are innovative in what you do here in the facility. So I know during COVID it may have caused a little bit of adversity, but through your mission statement, you all are still willing to create content that outlasts. So tell me about some of the innovative things that you've kind of done. I know you've had some live streaming and things going on to kind of help. Because maybe at first maybe things have slowed down, but you were able to find a way to make it manage and I guess still prosper throughout this, I guess, the pandemic and these times here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my entire career and experience in this industry and moving to Nashville prepared me for what happened in March.
Yeah.
I was absolutely ready, but I didn't start recognizing how ready I was until like afterwards, like a few months later, and I looked back at like the actions that I took and what I did. In the moment, I was just reacting, So my focus has always been like from creating the record shop and the way that I serve artists and providing these other resources and stuff to create solutions for artists for whatever sort of, problem they have. So when I was just like producing engineering, my focus was I started hearing, artists tell me, I'm used to going to these studios and I don't really feel like they care about what I'm doing. They're just sort of like booking studio time. So my solution for them was to be really driven to help them capture what they wanted and ask them those questions and push them to get a better performance, and all of that. Before I was a producer, but just as an engineer, just making sure that we were getting the best quality thing that we could and not settling for anything less, and so that was like, so I kind of found that like the lane, solution. And then there was like the other marketing stuff and video content and how to be able to help an artist that doesn't have any resources yet sort of build their career and their infrastructure around their team and all of that. So having done that for years, it was only natural when a big shift happens and the state says you can't open up your doors and you have to be closed for at least a month. At first I was a little relieved. I was like, all right, well, I can chill out for a minute, take a little bit of stress off. I was like, no one else can outwork me right now because no one's allowed to work. So it's okay for me to take a deep breath and just chill, So I was like, cool. I fixed some like equipment that we had and just knocked off some stuff off my like to-do list that, is just there when I have extra time. That extra time wasn't happening, And then I started learning different things. I got a subscription to Masterclass. And I learned like comedy from Steve Martin, and I watched like this magic thing with Penn and Teller, and this guy, Chris Voss, CIA negotiator, and like this really cool like content and stuff. And I was just reading a ton and like, and I was excited like for like maybe 4 or 5 days. And then I was like, okay, look, it was clear like as each day passed that this was not a 2-week long sort of ordeal, a 2 or 3 week long thing. This was going to, exist a bit longer than that. So then my mind started going into, okay, what can we do to make things, happen? Then I had an artist of mine that said, hey, all my shows got canceled, but this venue that I had wants to do like a Facebook Live thing with me to raise some money for their bartenders. Can I come to your studio and do it? And we weren't allowed to be like open as a business, but I was like, yeah, I can leave the door open and you can come in and, and do your show, but I won't be able to be in there. You just have to like set up, your phone or something like that. And so she did that. It went over really well. And then I started seeing all these artists like streaming from home and, which is great. Like get out, like, performing, keep connecting with your audience. And I thought, man, maybe this is the time. Cause for a while I've wanted to grow into this live streaming thing, but I didn't have a lot of artists that wanted to dive into it at a high level. If they were going to do it, they were cool with just doing it in their home and just doing a little, live stream thing. But now everybody's doing it. So now there's this bar that's raised for like quality, I thought, okay, well maybe now's the time where I could kind of talk these artists into taking this a little bit deeper. So I started exploring what it takes to put on a live streaming broadcast. And so you need the video equipment, obviously, and lighting. And then you need, if you have multiple cameras, you need a video switcher that will allow you to switch those signals between them. And you need an encoder that will take that video signal and then send it up to wherever you want to send it to. And convert it into the format that it needs to get to all these places. So if you want to go to Facebook and YouTube, or if you want to do a private thing to Zoom or a different website and stuff, then you need a host to be able to get to get it up there. So I learned the basics of like this stuff and consulted with a really great AV specialist that helped me put together an awesome package of stuff. And we got it all set up, and then I mean, like before I even got the equipment was around the time that now we were able to be open again, but it was still like kind of limited stuff. So we had to take a lot of time between sessions. We could only have so many people in the room at the same time, sort of thing. But I was starting to have a couple in-person sessions here and there. And I think it was like a week before it arrived, this incredible gospel artist that I work with, her name's Miranda Curtis. She was in here and she's looking around before she starts cutting her vocal, and she's like, man, it'd be really cool to shoot a video in here. And I like lit up. I was like, yeah, it would. And guess what? I just got all this equipment, and we can do a live broadcast of your show from the studio. It looks super clean and all that. So she was super excited about it. She got with her band leader, and they put together this concept for it, and we did a surprise album release show for her. And we did a surprise album release show for her. And it was really successful. There was, I think, a quarter million views or something on it by like the end of the week. And it really took off. It was a great, success. It was super stressful because this live broadcast thing is a lot different. Like in the studio, we can go back and like do another take. And if something's going wrong, we have got time to fix it. When you're live, man. If something goes down, it goes down. So I had a little bit of a panic attack when we were doing the first one. Now I got it down and I feel a bit more comfortable about it. But that was definitely like a big shift that we made, and it's been very valuable to artists. But my goal was to just find a new solution. So artists are doing this live streaming thing, but they're all struggling with it. They're like, man, I'm sitting here like staring at my phone. This isn't very inspiring. It doesn't look good. The audio sounds horrible. People can't hear me. And they're having all these problems with it. So let's find a way to create a solution, for them. And then that turned into looking at, well, how else can we utilize this equipment? So we had churches that wanted to do virtual services, and we had people that wanted to do podcasts, which is why we're here. And then we started connecting with a company called Song Division. It's a really innovative company that bridges music with like corporate team building events. And so now we started doing really substantial events with them, where they bring a band in, they write a song with the employees, and then they perform the song for them, or they're just entertainment for like a virtual holiday party, sort of thing. So now those are taking off, and it all came out of just seeing this opportunity, a way that this shift was happening within the industry. People were using this technology now, and I wanted to be on the forefront of being able to help them accomplish that at a really high level. So it's all just like, how can we solve solutions or solve problems, find solutions for the artists that we work with. The other thing that we did is that I was in the middle of a couple of projects when when all the studios got shut down, and I wanted to keep working. Like, after that few days of chilling out, I'm like, oh, cool, this is great. I couldn't survive like that, so I wanted to get back in. So I started thinking, all right, well, so how could I record remotely? So we have this live recording rig that we usually have out on like shoot dates, so that if we're recording like a festival or a concert or a showcase or an on location, recording, we have this audio setup that goes out with a computer and interface microphones and all that. And so that's just sitting here because there's no live music at venues and stuff. So why don't we put together this package that we can drop off to artists' house with all the equipment that they would use if they were here, so they're not sacrificing quality in any way by recording at home. And then I used a program called Audio Movers, which allowed us to take the audio from that system and then tap it into our system so I could hear it properly in the studio. And then we would use like Zoom to be able to see each other and run the session. And I just have everything plugged in. So they basically just like turn it on, log into the internet, and then I tap into that computer and then control everything from there. And so even if they weren't like tech savvy, they didn't need to know how to use all the stuff. I was running the session, but instead of me being in the control room and them being in the tracking room or the ISO booth, I was in the control room and their ISO booth was just at their house. So that was another, I guess, pretty like innovative way of doing something. I mean, it's all technology that already existed, but instead of saying, yeah, let's just wait and see when this gets over and then come back in. No, let's get to work. Let's keep working through this. We're inspired. We're about to finish this project. Let's keep the momentum rolling. And it was probably pretty essential for me, and I think probably for some of the artists too, to be able to have that to focus on. instead of just sitting around staring at the walls wondering when the world's going to end, you know?